In the words of Justin Timberlake, it's gotta be May.
Wow.
Just because it's really warm and it's the 1st of May.
Oh, yeah.
And
It is the 1st of May.
welcome back. Episode 3,
Yes.
is it? Where it was. But we have scraped the barrel once again.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
And we've brought back a former employee of ACS in Lewis Murch. DJ Lewis Murch.
Won't call it that much as much anymore.
I mean,
but
come on, you've had some singles
yeah.
released.
I mean, it's been a fair while. I'm not really touching base with music as such anymore, just because I've got other priorities. But
Sounds like too busy, if you ask me.
yeah, that's probably
Well,
right.
I'm just going to refer to you as
putting it.
DJ Lewis Murch throughout the podcast.
That's completely fine.
No, before I get into the ACS news, we have the biggest news.
Which is
Liverpool are Premier League champions. Liverpool are Premier League champions.
Bradford-based business.
Yeah, and Bradford-based. But hopefully Bradford are going to get promoted this weekend.
Okay.
If they win, they get promoted, and our print manager, Danny, will be... I will never see a man happier. We'll move into what ACS has done. We have a new green team.
We do. Which we're both part of.
We are both part of. We're very green. You're wearing... No, it's not green.
I've got green. I've got green.
And I've got green in my
You're
shirt.
covered in green.
But yeah, we've got a green team where we want to be more sustainable than we already are. We are doing some volunteering projects. We are trying to make our car park a little bit more greener instead of just being concrete.
A lot of it is about local green initiatives now,
It is, yes.
rather than trying to be too broad.
Yes, including something that I didn't know was a thing called balsam bashing, which, not to go into too much detail, it's just a plant that we go and hit.
I think you need more detail than that.
Okay. It's like a weird weed that strangles other plants and kills it. So we could basically go in there and just hack it and clean it all up. But that's the kind of thing that we're doing. What else have we done? Martine, our sales director, did a little fashion show last week, strutting the catwalk at a big event at Leeds First Direct Arena. Sorry, I'm scratching her back. She raised £800 for the Give a Duck Foundation, which is
One of our charity partners.
She's one of our charity partners. They give
Ducks.
not real ducks, teddy ducks to children with cancer.
Yeah.
They're £25 each. I know it sounds expensive, but all the money goes to the charity, and they send a child, like a nice little cuddly toy duck.
Yeah, and like the nurses and doctors will show like what is being done
Yes.
to the child on the duck so that they know what's going to happen. It's really nice.
It is. It's a very nice charity. So if you do want to have a look at it, search Give a Duck Foundation. It's very worthwhile. But that's it. That's all we've done.
We've not been up to much recently.
We've been very quiet.
A lot of stuff going on in the background. But
Yeah, Frosty's had a haircut.
that's important.
He's currently asleep on my foot. But yeah, Lewis, you're back.
Yeah.
How
Nice to be back.
what it's been 2-3 years since you left?
Just over 3 years, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's it's been an eventful last few years. Obviously, I was still here during the COVID times as well. I think I started working actually at COVID,
Yes.
and I was one of the ones that actually get kept back in the office, out of like the 9 people out of however many staff there is at the moment. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a journey actually. Learning a lot in the last 3 years plus.
So I don't want to sound rude, and obviously we'll explain it in more detail. But you've got bigger, but obviously not in that term, because you do quite a bit of bodybuilding, don't you?
Not bodybuilding.
Okay.
I'll stay away from bodybuilding. No, I compete in strongman actually.
Oh,
Me too.
You can give it a whirl. Yeah, so I started sort of training for strongman. I saw one competition in Blackpool probably about 2 years ago now, and it was just like a standard little small competition in a car park just outside a pub, which is really cool because there's free beer. There was 5 events, and I was like, actually these look okay. I can probably lift these. I'll train to lift these. A few of them I'd never actually touched before I trained. I'd done the events. So, for example, like there was a car hold where you had to hold a car from rolling down a ramp on a bit of rope. There was a yoke carry, which is like a big frame on your shoulders that you've got to carry. I'd never trained that before. And stones. I'd never touched an Atlas stone. So I did that. First time as competition, came I think I came like 15th out of 20. So I mean, it didn't do that great, but
First time.
it was literally one of them things where
that's
just
not
been
bad.
like, yeah, I've just gone to a gym and was like, yeah, let's give this a go. And then from then on, just became a little bit obsessed. I guess ADHD kicked in a little bit, and that was it. I just sort of hyper focused on doing that. A few more competitions down the line. Competing in Arnold's UK Festival last year. On like the big stage, did pretty well. Few like the World's Strongest Man, so Mitchell Hooper, he like commentated and refereed. And then yeah, it's just been continuous since
So
then.
it's
Really.
not just a hobby. It's
Take over.
yeah.
It's just a lot of eating and a lot of training. But
I can do half of that.
Yeah, I can do the first one, no
like-
problem.
there's no diet. There's no set diet. You just eat more, which is
I can do that.
beneficial.
I'm a strong man.
yeah, exactly. Eat more, train, always heavy. Have lots of rest. But there's no strict regime where you can't drink alcohol, you can't, eat carbs, you can't do this, can't do that. It's just literally eat and lift heavy. That's literally as simple as it gets, really. So that's the reason why I do it.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No.
But yeah, obviously you have to work on like the endurance side of things. So cardio has to get involved and so on and so forth. But cardio is the worst enemy for most strongmen. But it is becoming a bit more like endurance focused over the last few years. With the introduction of like the World's Strongest Man, Mitchell Hooper. He's just an absolute powerhouse, going from powerlifter to strongman. So yeah, everything's becoming like run based. You could do this most thing in 60 seconds and so on and so forth. So it's changing, but it's good fun. And again, there's no strict routine or strict plan. You just go to the gym, eat, and that's it, really.
Because you obviously quickly touched on it before we go into what you actually do. Because you used to do a lot of I don't know the technical term, backflipping.
Yeah, free
spinning
running
in the air.
Yeah. So I did free running parkour for a good 9-10 years actually. And then I got into like dance and stuff for film shoots and TV adverts.
Any adverts we can find on internet to embarrass you?
Yeah, the Trinity Centre. The Trinity Centre in Leeds. When that first opened, I did the TV advert for that for ITV. So
Gonna find that?
yeah, just go on YouTube and search.
I mean,
Trinity Leeds advert.
So
Yeah.
to promote this one, I put on my LinkedIn saying that you were coming in, and all I did was go on YouTube and just search Lewis Murch flip, and a
I
big
saw the little clip it. Yeah,
and a big
yeah.
collage of you jumping around, flipping on grassy areas in the middle of a council stage. I'm like, yep, we're using that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
I can
that's
find it.
Lewis.
If you have a back history, I'm going to find it.
Yeah, there's it is quite a back history now. It's a fair few years ago, and I don't do any more flips. I mean,
I was going to say,
I'm 32 now, 33 now. Like
with your now large weightlifting
yeah,
size.
it's so much harder, so much harder to sort of lift yourself, throw yourself around. I just don't. Yeah, as you get heavier,
But
it gets
you're all
harder.
right competing in strongman competitions.
Yeah, but I don't have to
Yeah,
flip.
he doesn't have to pick up
flipping
an Atlas stone
over
and
items,
fair jump in the air.
But yeah, that part of my life's moved on and definitely over. Which is why I do more. I say more the peaceful things now, but definitely stuff where I can just get
Rest.
on with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit more of a rest. Say that.
Feet on the ground, shall we say?
Yeah, that's probably a better way.
Well, we'll dig into what you're actually here for. So obviously, I know you moved to a company called Bobble
Yep.
Media.
Bobble Digital, yeah.
Bobble Digital. So when I first saw that you got the job, and then I think it was a few months later, you said, "I'm now officially." I don't know what went through my head, but it said, "I'm now officially a paid media manager," and I genuinely thought at the first, going, "Has he been working for free for the first 3 months? Like I'm now a paid print account manager."
Yeah, no.
So what is?
No, it's just a name. It's basically a marketing manager as such. It's just a name because obviously we do more media focused stuff. So marketing manager will look at like everything as a whole. So like the print, the design, the pattern, everything else. Mm-hmm. Paid media is more media. So Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram, TikTok ads, Twitter, Snapchat, so on and so forth. But yeah, I started off at Bobble just as an exec. Worked my way up to seniority within about 3-4 months, and then worked for another year and a half, and then moved up to being a paid media manager, which again is just a digital marketing manager. Mm-hmm. Just to put it in the same, simple terms, really. But yeah, again, that's been another journey. I spent 2.5 weeks in Dubai in December with my boss actually.
What are the benefits of paid media digital marketing?
Depending on your brand, I mean, the benefits are advertisement. At the end of the day, you want to grow a brand, you want to build a persona. You'd use advertising, you'd use marketing. Again, you guys probably do it at ACS as well. I mean, I know you do quite a lot of print stuff. And then your marketing stuff online as well. I think you do Google ads as such, or there was.
We used to do Google ads. We don't do as much of it anymore.
You'll know more about it working up in marketing now.
Now that I'm one of them.
One of those.
So we do a lot of online stuff, the website portfolios, stuff like that, but not much in terms of advertising or ads or paid anything really.
Well, if you need a guy,
we might get in touch.
But no, the benefits is to build your brand as such. Or if you was an e-commerce brand, so if you're selling beds, for example, then you'd advertise your bed products to sell online. Which means that what you can do is also, without having to type in a brand, so for example, if it was IKEA, you wouldn't have to search IKEA to find that brand. It'd be something else relevant to that company where you'd actually find a product. So for example, IKEA would be, I don't know, cheap furniture. Maybe you get an ad for that. So you put in a keyword, and then you'd see an advertisement on Google, or if you've been browsing it online, you'll see an advert on your phone. So if advertising is always a little bit weird as well. So if you're scrolling through your phone at night time, something always pops up that you've been thinking about. What you'll have done during, at some point, you'll have checked it out on your phone, so it obviously works from cookies.
Yeah.
So if you've looked at something online, then you're going to see an ad for it probably a week later or the day after, through retargeting methods, through interest targeting, demographics, and so on. So yeah.
And then they're convinced that you've got mind control. And
Yeah.
I don't think they advertise the things I look for on the internet.
You get people with tin hats being
Some
like,
things don't get advertised.
Got you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the benefits of paid media marketing. If you want to advertise a brand or grow a brand, then
there's a lot of crap on the internet now that's just keyword spamming and stuff. So I guess
definitely
it tries to bypass all of that and show out what's actually good and what's...
I don't know why, and I'm getting it more now, and I know why, but I've been targeted by these horrible. The phrase I want to use I can't really mention on here because of we've been told off for swearing, but douchebags who are advertising these horrible. They've clearly just drop shipped a load of crap from China, and they're trying to pass it off as a new premium brand. And I keep getting advertised by these horrible sling bags and stuff. And it's just the commentary on them. So I've been laughing at them, and I've been sending them to my mate. And now they obviously thinks, oh, this guy's really interested in all these bags.
So the retargeting kicks into
play. So now my Facebook is just full of these horrible adverts. Please just go away. So I'm trying to search other things to hopefully blend it out.
To sort of change the algorithm. Yeah. I mean, that's how marketing works. And that's things you're using retargeting signals, for example. So because you've looked at that so many times, then that's going to send a signal to whichever platform you're using, for example. That is interested, keep showing him ads now until he actually converts. So it's going to do that until you either convert or just change your algorithm again. So the best way to do it to get out of that is just look at other things and just change your algorithm completely.
Cute kitten videos, that's all I'm going to do, and hopefully
I really like it when you buy something and then it starts advertising that thing to you. It's you bought one.
Oh, you bought a house. Oven. Would you like another one?
Yeah, do you need another one?
I got that a few weeks back actually. So I got hit by my own methodology. So I bought some new struts for my car for the boot, and I had them in advertisement. They got 20% off. I bought them, and you can only buy it once. It's just a thing for your boot for your car. And then I keep seeing advertisements every week, again and again and again. They keep sending like email automation saying, "Here's another 20% off if you want another pair." And I'm like, I have one car. Like what?
To be fair, though, it's quite interesting because I've always thought. Obviously, I get that companies advertise to obviously promote their product and stuff, but why do companies that are, like you say, struts for your boot, you're never going to need them again. If especially if they've got like a lifetime warranty and stuff. You've got one car. Why do companies advertise or send out saying all these offers and stuff like as if you're going to
buy it again?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird one, really. So I managed to find a discount code online prior to buying them in the first place. So I did when I first saw an ad, there wasn't a discount code on there. So the retargeting version would be the discount. But because I've already purchased that, it's gathered my data that I've already been on the site. So it's just retargeting consistently. But again, it's about changing your algorithm and just searching for other things. So once that sort of time passes, I'll hopefully end up seeing more things that I've been looking for in the last, 30 days as such. But there's different methods of retargeting as well. So you can do it like by 30 days, 60 days, 180 days, and so on and so forth. And there's like page views and whatever else. But yeah, I won't go into the complicated stuff.
I'm gonna go a little bit off the script of questions. But say I have a website that I want to advertise. I could go onto Google and pay for adverts. What's the benefit in using a company like yours?
So as more of an agency as such.
Yeah.
So I think one of the most, I guess the top benefit for that is you not having to pay for staff, because you're going to have to pay a staff member, minimum of in marketing, probably about 30 grand a year.
Right.
When you can pay an advertising agency, someone that's going to look after it, 12 grand a year or 10 grand a year, whatever it may be, over time, obviously, because it works on a management fee basis. Right. So you just pay them to manage it when you're not paying your staff member 2 grand a month, 3 grand a month, whatever it may be. So that's probably one of the top benefits there. You don't have to pay for an external staff member as such. And then again, it's somebody else that just can take the stick off your back as such. You don't have to worry about all the stresses. They do all the reporting, they do all the calls, they do all your marketing, they do all the planning. You just give them the assets that you've got, and then that's it.
Right. Okay.
So it's just stress free.
And I guess you're avoiding like the common mistakes and stuff that
exactly.
newbies would do.
Yeah. You don't have to train anybody up, so training costs are not there. There's so many different courses for Google Ads, Snapchat, TikTok, Apple Ads, Apple Search apps that cost, and that's another cost of the business. So rather than doing that, having one, all the training costs, two, training time, because you can't train someone within a week, and then obviously a staff member cost. It's much easier to work for an agency or a freelancer where they know straight away. They just tech on that, do a little bit of research and cracking.
So I can now go down to our MD and give him a cost saving thing saying, can we get rid of our marketing team?
Shit, I've lost a job.
You just openly asked a question that loses your job.
Well, there's marketing, there's digital marketing. Obviously, they're two completely different things. So yeah, it just varies really.
Because obviously you've had, like you mentioned, you've jumped up from within 3 months seniority to in there, but you've actually got your own business now.
Yeah. So a little bit of announcement on here. This is
exclusive.
This is actually exclusive. So all of my friends know, and obviously my boss currently. But I am leaving Bobble Digital in June the 20th or 21st, I believe, to basically start out my own brand called Stay North Digital. I chose the name Stay North because I'm a proud Northerner and I want people to stay north. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it worked. It was a very, very simple idea. And the way that I've built my website out as well is I've just used very like Yorkshire slang terms, mentioned things like gravy and cup of tea and sort of everything else. Just
Which
to sort
we
of
all love a bit of gravy.
Exactly. So I wanted to just stick to my roots as much as possible. I mean, that's not to say that I'm not going to have clients outside of Yorkshire, because I have clients currently in Thailand, currently in the USA. But for me as a personal brand,
is it Northern Thailand and Northern USA?
Yeah,
it's all right.
It's Yorkshire Thailand and Yorkshire USA. Yeah. But
the Yorkshire folk are known for being the friendliest people, so it's better to get someone from the north. And
100%.
That was pretty much the backstory. But yeah, exclusivity there. Yeah, I'm leaving soon, which I am nervous about. It's going to be a bit of a journey. It's going to be hard work. But it just came to the point where I was like, well, if I don't take a risk now, at 32 years old, then I'm never going to. I don't want to be working every single day 9 to 5 by the time I'm 40. I'd like to have a little bit more free time. I have a little girl. Half terms I don't get to spend time with her and so on and so forth. So I needed to take a bit of a risk. And so far it's proven like a pretty good risk. Scary one, but yeah.
But it's not like you're not moving into because a lot of people tend to, like, let's say you went from an IT account manager. You're not going, I want to do digital marketing, I'm going to start my own company. You have had the training as such, the experience.
Yeah, and I mean even whilst I was working here as well, I still had like experience on the back end doing like graphic design and poster design and stuff like that. And I'd done some like sort of Facebook ads for people before, so I already had sort of experience prior to that. But then when I started at Bobble, I spent a lot of time in my free time doing like extra courses and stuff outside of hours, just to sort of advance and learn the next best thing. And that sort of still stays consistent as well. So I mean, at the moment, I'm sort of training on another platform, and there's updates as well that come out on Google nearly every month, and there's updates on Meta ads and new things, and you have to sort of stay at the forefront of this technology because everything changes. If you don't stay at the forefront, you're going to just get left behind. As an agency or as a digital marketer or paid media exec or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, very, very fun.
Let's say a company obviously gives you all the assets and says, we want this out there and stuff. Do they expect, or do you give them, say, we can do this, or do they expect a sort of return on investment? And what happens if you, I guess, fail to advertise. If they spent all that money and they've got at the end of it, they'll go, well, we haven't got anything more. What happens then?
It's a good question actually, and that is a question that pretty much gets brought up in every single audit. So before we actually start working on an account, we usually audit what they currently have got going on, and if they don't, then obviously we build a full plan, full strategy based on whatever the business is. So if it's e-commerce, it'll be a completely different strategy to how it'll be if it was lead generation, or if it was just like the wanting phone calls or whatever. So there's a different strategy for each brand. So what we do is take away that, research who the business are, research what they do, research keywords, research their competitors to find out what they're doing, and then come back with that. If that doesn't work, because results aren't promised with digital marketing, it's impossible to say, I can promise you 50 leads a month, because it's just an invisible number. And this is one sort of negative of sometimes being a bigger agency. So with Bob, we're quite a small agency, and obviously I'll be a tiny agency myself. Like with a bigger agency, they'll try force them results and say, I can promise you X amount of results. You've probably seen an ad yourself, like sometimes with some random guy random guy from India just saying, here, like, I can get you 50 leads a month for this cost and blah blah blah. It just doesn't work like that. It's very impossible. How marketing works is very on like a testing sort of process. So you test one thing, if it doesn't work, test another thing. If it doesn't work, test another thing. If that doesn't work, then maybe marketing or that platform is not right for them. So for example, if they're just testing Google Ads, have a look at another platform. There's other outlets. So, you know, for an e-commerce brand, for example, to build awareness, like, you wouldn't just dive straight on Google as such. It'd be like use Facebook because it's more visual, so people can see what the brand are, see what you're selling. You know, for maybe TikTok Shop now as well, that's huge. You can run ads through TikTok Shop. If you're using an e-commerce, again, selling a product. Lead generation, obviously it's a little bit more sort of like Google, so that would be heavily focused on that, or LinkedIn. But there's so many platforms, it just differs. So I guess going back to like the truthful answer on that is it's just about A/B testing. You have to constantly test, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You go back to the drawing board, restart again, look at your strategy, and then just work from there. And in most cases, if it's a completely brand new brand, then it is very hard to build a brand. You have to at least give 6 months, because you have to build a broader, a broader outreach of a brand or a product or a business. So there's a lot of like brand building before you even start like even thinking about getting leads or getting purchases or whatever it may be. And objective change, of course.
So when people are trying to do this all themselves, and obviously not keeping up with the updates and everything like this, what mistakes are people making that are costing them?
So what we usually see when we go to audit an account is a lot of people use broad match terms. So again, I won't go into too much detail, but broad match is basically Google's way of absolutely costing you a fortune on keywords. So it works on a cost per click basis because it's called pay per click. That's what PPC stands for. So it's pay per click. So for example, if someone's Googled the word bed, that's quite a broader term. So it's going to cost you an absolute fortune on arm and legs, maybe like £10 per click. If you've only got £10 per day and you've got 10 keywords that you're targeting, that spend is just going to focus on that certain keyword rather than spreading it out over, you know, that whole campaign or that whole ad group build. Again, that's probably me just going a bit like too technical.
No.
But yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So
right.
I don't want to go too technical into it. But yeah, there's so many answers for that.
I guess if you choose a really broad term, you're competing with everybody else.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So let's just put, I don't know, business supplies as ACS, for example. If you Google the word business supplies, so many ads are going to come up because people will be using those terms. So what you have to do is just be very careful with the marketing. So look at other terms for that. Look at longer tail keywords. So business supplies for IT, or business supplies for branded, or other questions within that. So, you know, questions, for example. Use questions as a keyword. So what would you ask if you wanted to find ACS? And you didn't know the brand. What would you Google?
Bradford Office Supplies Company.
There you go. So that's one of your keywords, and that's something that would be much, much cheaper than targeting the keyword business supplies. Which means that when you Google that, you're more likely to be found at the top of the ads.
Right, okay.
And that works with SEO as well, but I don't touch SEO because it's horrible.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So using, I guess, local words as well.
Yeah, localized terms, yeah. It's a better way to be found. You're not going to rinse your money because it's easy to spend a lot of money in Google straight away. And there obviously is different outlooks as well. So there's display campaigns, so obviously images, display formats. You've got discovery as well, so you can now use carousel ads. You've got Gmail, so when you open a Gmail ad, you can see an advertisement when you open the email, or when it's closed, you see ads on there as well. And then you've got your video content, which video through Google Ads is YouTube ads. Right. So if you've got a good YouTube advertisement that's something you've been browsing around, you're more likely to see an ad at the start of a video when you open it up based on things that you've been searching around on the internet.
How are you adapting to like people using AI and searching Bradford office supplies
Sam
company?
loves AI.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I think my boss actually answered this one in one of his previous podcasts. It's a hard,
with
it's a really
difficulty.
Hard question. Yeah, it's never going to automate marketing because you have to have the manual process of it. The planning, the strategy, everything else, the deep dive, the settings. It can't do any of that. I'd say it's good if you, for example, have bad grammar and it's going to fix your grammar for ad copy, for example. If you wanted to, optimize your description for, the best headlines and so on and so forth, then I'd say yes, use it for that. But for anything else, I don't know. Like I've not really adapted to it as such yet. It's quite a sore space.
I suppose it's still changing all the time as
well.
Yeah.
And there's so many other AI platforms as well now. So there's obviously you've got your ChatGPT, then you've got like loads of other AI platforms that are now building like display ads for you. So you upload your logo, upload your product, and it'll do it all for you. There is benefits with it as such. So for example, like if you had an e-commerce brand and you had so many products in the merchant center, which is another one of Google's tools, which uses your shopping ads. So if when you're looking for something, you'll see ads at the top of a product that's a shopping ad. What you can do is add like backgrounds and you can add it into placements. So for example, if you've got a plain image of a bed, the merchant center will use the AI tool within that and use the AI generative to generate a background. So it'll put a bed in a bedroom, for example, which means that you're probably more likely to click on that because it looks a bit more, I guess, personable as such. So yeah, it does have its benefits, but probably a little bit on the fence with AI at the minute. It's not a new tool. It has been around obviously quite a long time and it is advancing. But yeah, I'm just a little bit on the balance of that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. It has been very informative. I think you probably answered the questions a lot more detailed than I would have. But yeah, so if anyone, obviously we've now got the exclusive that you have started Staying Off Digital.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
StayingOffDigital.com. Paid for the domain a few months back. Just have a look on there. I have obviously done social, so Instagram, Staying Off Digital. I've got a LinkedIn now, Staying Off Digital again. Yet to create a Facebook page, but I don't think it's very important for something like this. But
who uses Facebook these days?
Yeah, for something like
me to get targeted by handbags
for
men.
Yeah. So Staying Off Digital on everything.
It'll be in the description of the podcast and stuff anyway.
Fantastic. Well, if you get any leads from it, we want to cut back. We're salespeople, and
we'll give you 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
10% good.
Throw some profit my way. We are a popular podcast with listeners in.
We've got like seven,
including one in Seattle. I think Ryan still listens to us, does he not?
He must do.
Oh, is that the designer, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't work for us anymore, but
does it not?
he listens.
Okay.
But no, thank you very much, Lewis, for coming in.
No, I appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, if you do want to find anything marketing-wise, or if you've got any ideas, you want to put your brand out there, do get in touch. Staying Off Digital. But if you need anything else,
yes.
If you need office supplies,
contact me.
Yeah.
Or just email in podcast@acsgroup.co.uk. Any questions, or if there's anything you do want to hear, listen to, any ideas of guests we can get in, I don't know. Just email us. We'll have a little chat. Just send us anything. But yeah, thanks, Lewis. And
I really appreciate that, mate.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Thank you, bye.
See you later.